fear of failure. Because if I fail, what will people think about me? People are going to laugh at me. People are going to say that I am a disappointment, a disgrace. But I want to tell you this today and right now, that failure redefines you, okay? It gives you another opportunity that you're going to do this again. And you are better off than someone who never gave it a try, okay? Yeah. So, inner work means looking within, healing your wounds, unlearning toxic beliefs, and choosing growth over comfort. It involves facing truths you've always ignored. You know, there are some things that you've been ignoring about yourself. This is when you face them, okay? Yeah, so I have a question for you. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and just believed you were enough? What would your life look like? I want you to reflect this question with me, and at the end of the session, you're gonna maybe write it down, the answer. Yeah, but reflect this question with me. So that is the first part. I hope you've understood what the inner work is. So we come to knowing and leading yourself. Someone said that you cannot lead others into what you do not know. You have first to learn how to lead yourself before you lead others. And if there's something that's very hard, it's leading yourself. Leading yourself, telling yourself to do this, to do that, that's the hardest thing that I'd say that life, you have to face in life. And what does it mean to truly know yourself? This is understanding yourself beneath the surface. It's not about like what color you love, what you like, what you dislike. This is now knowing yourself in a deeper context. Like I told you from Single Purpose, you now redefine everything about yourself and about others. It's about being deeply honest with yourself and aware of what drives you, what hurts you, and what heals you. You know, like a certain emotion you face. Why do I react this way about something? No, that's knowing yourself totally. It's not majorly about the colors, the top layer. It's just knowing yourself deeply, who you are, what you want, what drives you, what hurts you, what heals you. This is about knowing yourself. And okay, what do you think about yourself? When you know yourself, you must know what you think about yourself first. Do you think you're a disappointment? Do you think you are a great person? You are amazing? You know, you should be affirming yourself each and every single day in the morning. So I guess I've touched on knowing yourself. And we said, for you to lead others and for you to lead yourself, you must know yourself. You must know this is what I love, and so I am leading myself to a certain direction. Why do you think self-trust is so hard to build, even with ourselves? You know, do you trust yourself? I want to ask you this question. Do you trust yourself? Do you? Yeah. So as we've said, we want this to be an interactive session. I want to ask you this question so that you can know if you trust yourself or not. How often do you break the promises that you've made to yourself, but yet fulfill promises you've made to other people? How often? Anyone? From life experiences. Maybe you promised me you'd show up, you'd be here for me, yeah, but you're here. But you promised yourself you'd do something little for yourself, but you've not yet done it. Anyone who wants to share it with us? Please. Yes?
I think that things that are promised people, okay, to me, naturally, I'd say maybe from a firstborn perspective, you kind of do it naturally, easily, than the things that you promised yourself. You're like, you don't put yourself first that much. So I think I'd do promises that I've done for people. Like, I've promised people, I'd fulfilled them more than the ones that I promised myself. And sometimes, yes, when you sit and think about it, you're like, I denied myself this and this and this for some person or something that doesn't actually benefit you, let's say directly, but maybe let's say there's a friend of mine who wants something, I would think about them more than the way I think of myself. For some reason, I'd say, yeah.
Thank you so much. What she has said, I think most of us can relate to this, where you put other people's needs before your own needs. You know, there's a time you'll promise a person. This was me. I used to promise people that I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna be there as your support system. And yet I show up for people. You know, like it's very, I don't know, I'll say it's a kinaya, that you are there for other people, but you're not there for yourself. You're there to encourage other people, but you're not encouraging yourself. You're there to be a shoulder for some other people to lean on, but you're not there for yourself. So I think you cannot give what you do not have. You have to care about yourself, shower yourself with love before you shower other people with love, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Sindio? Yeah. So, to get to your point, I want to throw another question to you. And let's be honest, when was the last time you sat down with yourself and asked yourself this question? Am I okay? You know, having this, it's not crazy to have conversations with yourself. I don't know how often you do that. To sit with yourself and you ask, hey me, how am I? How am I doing? How far am I progressing with life and with my goals? So when was the last time you sat down with yourself and asked yourself how you are? Nelly?
Okay, so hi everyone.
Hi.
So for me, I think in terms of asking yourself, are you okay? It's something I do almost every day. Because I believe in this aspect of, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it works for me. Let's be selfish. I can't come to your house to be checking on you when I'm not okay. And even if I come to you and ask you, are you okay? And I'm not okay, you will be sharing your issues with me, but at the same time, unapata, I'm listening to you, but I'm trying to tell you something, but you're not getting it because, and both of us, she has said you cannot pour from an empty cup. So it's like we are trying to solve an issue here, but we are being selfish. I want you to listen, you also want me to listen. So I think asking yourself this question every day really matters. I can say it in morning or evening, every day, every time. Even if me ask myself, what do you feel like eating? And I address myself like I'd address, let's say, Lensa. I'll say, Nelly, nasikia kula.
Film is growing. Sawa sawa. We're just going to move on to our next speaker, Miss Daisy. Kindly take us through the becoming, building in uncertainty. Help us to unravel the building in uncertainty. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I will try to be as brief as possible. And I think becoming is the toughest part of it all. Because when we talk of becoming, it means nothing is perfect with us as individuals, and nothing is perfect again with the surrounding and with the environment that we are in. And we may have worked on ourselves as much as possible, but there's usually some limitations with becoming, especially with regards to environment. I may want to do this, but there are no maybe funds. I may want to do this, but maybe the mentality of the area of the people that I am with does not align with what I want to do, or people don't see purpose in what I want to do. So becoming is tough. And to become, it's not an easy job. To become, you have to be a rebel. You have to decide you're going to go against a system. Yesterday we had a session with Mary Ben. I think Mary Ben, she was recently nominated for, I think, something on LinkedIn. I don't know, but you can check out. You can check her platform on Instagram. And what she was trying to say is that, especially when we are trying to become, it's important that we build an environment around us. Number one, friendships. Intentionality in friendships. You cannot just be friends with anyone and everyone. And I'm not saying don't be good to people. Be good to people. Sawa. You owe people that common decency. But when you're choosing your circle, because friends are family, are sort of family that you can be able to select, be intentional with them. And when we are looking at friendships, you can look at friendships. You can't have like one friend being your everything. You know, you're not going to a single friend or for advice on business, for advice on school, or to complain to them about your family and what your boyfriend did. You know, that's why you need to have friends for different things. Okay? If you're a person who goes clubbing, have friends for clubbing. Now when you want to watch sherehe, it's right. Sawa. But if another aspect of your life is that I want to grow to this level, now have friends who can help you grow in that level. Have friends who are already in that level. And with regards to being intentional in the environment you're creating, because environment can be limiting. For those of us who maybe believe, maybe I just want to speak to the believers here. Pray. Pray for your friends. You may have people that you think are your friends, they will sabotage you. It is possible. It's possible they will sabotage you, they will throw you under the bus in a snap, they will throw you under the bus. So it's important that you're intentional. Pray about your friends. Pray for your friends. The other category of people you need is mentors. I know you will go places and people will tell you, oh, have a mentor. But I'm telling you today, be intentional about mentorship. Sawa. Aki, please, especially for young women, look for people to hold your hands. In Kenya, opportunities are get kicked. Let me just tell you the truth. The opportunities you will never set your eyes on, probably they are in certain spaces. They will show you those opportunities. And you are there just hanging out with your age mates. You don't have anyone anywhere that you can call. You don't have anywhere to seek advice. And probably maybe you're studying gender development studies. You need to have someone there. You need to have a mentor, like in terms of your profession. So that they can be able to advise you. What are the advancements in this field? So that you are up to date. You're not just reading classwork. You're not just doing what other students are doing in class. You are up to date. You know what to do. They will tell you opportunities. They will tell you, by the way, write a paper. We have conferences here and here. We are presenting this and this. You can sign up for that. And it will open doors for you. Have mentors, like professional mentors, number one. Have spiritual mentors. Guys, in my life, I have seen God. And when I keep talking about, believing, I have seen God. Have people that can lift you in prayer. I know your mothers wake up and pray at 3 a.m. in the morning for you, but you need to start cultivating a family of people that can pray for you, that especially eventually when you decide you need to settle down and have children, they will also pray for your children and carry your children in prayer. Sawa. Prayer is important. We face battles in life every day, and some battles we don't know. We're in an African setting, and well, I'll just tell you again that I recently got an opportunity to go to the US, and one thing you realize about their culture is harmonizes to reserve witchcraft and all. Like, people will put their achievements out there and they will be clapped for. Here in Kenya and in Africa, tunaogopa. Unajua unaweza kupata passport lakini kitambo uambie mtu ninatoka, watu wataoneanga kama ulifika kule unafaa kuenda, because we fear so much. And so we don't know, because of this we don't know how many battles we are fighting. We don't know even in the spiritual realm. So it's important that we have even spiritual mentors, okay? And then now moving forward, in terms of mentorship, I want you to be intentional and even pray for your mentors. The mentors, because in life, as long as you're below me, probably I'm okay with it, okay? But then you start coming up and you're almost, surpassing where I am, mtu anaanza kuwa na kinyongo. And that's why you need to pray for your mentors. The mentors that will see you coming up, they will be okay, they will advise you as long as you're beneath them. But the moment you start coming up, inakuwa shida. They will start telling stories and all that. So it's important that you have mentors. And again, pray for your mentorship. Pray for your mentors and the people that mentor you, and go for them for advice. The other thing in the process of becoming, I cannot be able to exhaust all of this, but I want to be as brief as possible and maybe just talk about the key points. Leverage on the things around you. And there's someone who talks about AI, the way the world is moving, like in terms of technology and AI and things like that. And there are some of us who are not, jumping on, and taking advantage of AI and taking advantage of technology. And TikTok is here. Because the other thing I have learned about our country, Kenya, you may be as talented as possible, but you're not going anywhere unless someone sees you or people see you. You cannot just be there or until someone will support you. It's not going to happen in Kenya. Probably it will happen. I know like in the US it happens because those people reward talent, they reward hard work. It might happen there, but not in Kenya. How many talented musicians do we have? But how many are famous? You have to put yourself out there. So leverage on the existing social media platforms and let your social media platforms tell a story. And I think I had a conversation with Nelly. Leverage on your social media platforms. Let them tell a story. Because recently I've been applying for certain opportunities on LinkedIn. And this is what these people want. They want for you to put your social media links there. Meaning they're going to go through your social media. They're going to go through your socials. So what is your Instagram telling? What story is your Instagram telling? You know, we've got to be intentional about some of it. You can have a separate account for your things, but have an account that tells your story. Leverage on LinkedIn. Okay, I will repeat. Leverage on LinkedIn. There are millions of opportunities on LinkedIn. You will get better mentors on LinkedIn. You will get to know what other people are doing on LinkedIn. It will challenge you and change your circle. In your circle, acha kukuwe na watu wenye you're looking up to. Because if your circle is here, you'll be forced to level up. Because tell me, maybe you're working with people like maybe alafu Thursday na Friday pia ni weekend. So mna back classes zote Tuesday na Wednesday. Hiyo ndo mbogi yako by the way. And you go out there and you discover people are doing this other thing. So please leverage on that. And then I don't know, there's something I also wanted to say just to reinforce. This is my thing. I'm finishing. I wanted to reinforce on what Lucy said about building and working on our inner selves. I've been reading a book called Outliers, and Outliers is essentially advantage builds over time. When you look at a child who's been born from a poor background and a child who's been born from a rich background, they may be having the same IQ, but trust me, the child from the rich background will succeed faster and highly likely succeed more than the child from a poor background. And that points out to advantage. So, and there are advantages that maybe we cannot control. We can't control where we were born. We cannot control who our parents were or are. But we can control we can control what we can do to create advantage for ourselves. Like for example, I will just give you should read Outliers, by the way. It's an awesome book. I will give you an example. For instance, maybe we join medical class. Let me since we're here now, let me assume Marilyn and I are in the same class. Probably we joined we came into campus with the same grade, and probably I decided to club and all that, and I'm not saying clubbing is bad, but I decided not to focus on my studies, and Marilyn here decided she's going to focus. And you know what will happen? Probably Marilyn will score better grades than I will, okay? And bogi yako ya kampo inakudanganyanga grades don't matter. Ndio maana unafaa kubadilisha bogi. Itaanza kukudanganya what? Grades don't matter. But you know what will happen to Marilyn? Lecturers will notice her. That is number one. And when they have an opportunity for someone, they will come for Marilyn, okay? And I remember when Mel Whitman came to Kisii University. Do you know who got selected to interview? Was it Meg Whitman? That was Daniel Mwendwa Makunga. He's a 6th-year medical student at Kisii University. Would you ask yourself why it was not you? So you need to learn placement. You need to learn to place yourself at points of advantage. If there are things you can do to get ahead, do them. If there are advantages you have over other people, use them. Sawa. If you're not in the bad way, by the way, morality, I'm not saying you lose your morals and all that, but if you're pretty and you can do something with your beauty, probably start a line of makeup and all that, do it. If you're a good speaker, use that opportunity. Rich people use their money all the time, and that's the advantage. Why shouldn't you use your capacity to be an eloquent speaker? Why shouldn't you use your confidence as a person? Why shouldn't you use your position in medical school to get into bigger spaces? So as we look at this, I think this is a conversation that I could talk about, and I have a lot of things to say. But number one, if you're going to forget everything that I say, have a family of friends who will carry you in prayer, friends who will encourage you, and friends who will challenge you. Okay? Atakuwa tuna bogi yenye iko tu yenye they are doing nothing, because people are doing things out here. And then number 2, have mentors. Aki, have mentors. Reach out to them. Tell them, so and so, I want you to be my mentor. I am here, and this is the help I need. Sawa. Yeah. And then number 3, what am I saying? Leverage on platforms, existing platforms. Create an environment for yourself. And number 3, use your advantage and create advantages for yourself. Sawa. Exactly. So I have so much to say, but with that, I think I am done with becoming. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Just appreciate that. We are learning, right? I wish I was recording this because I feel like I need to listen to it again and again. But because in the interest of time, we shall proceed to our third speaker, Ms. Marilyn. Kindly take us through the balances. Walking in purpose and power. The boldness, sorry, it's boldness. Walking in purpose and power. Welcome.
A round of applause.
Yeah. I think probably to reintroduce myself because this might set a base for my topic. I am Marilyn Boyani. As I said, many things. Project coordinator, respect, chair, Medical Students Association, co-founder Poise Purpose, running a startup that when we launch we will talk to you guys. So you will ask, how does a medical student step into all these positions? How does a medical student who is expected to be in class from 8 to 5 p.m., sometimes 6, 7, manage to juggle all of this? So I think stepping into your purpose boldly, stepping into rooms boldly, does not start in a day. You just don't wake up sometime and say, Leo nataka to lead medical students. You don't wake up one day and think, I want to advocate for sexual rights, which is also frowned upon in the community. It is a process. You first need to understand what your purpose is. In this generation where social media, in as much as we applaud social media, it is also a source of comparison and what wengi feel like they have to get to this point where I will use my friends' names because I am not that creative. I need to get to this point where Wendy is. I need to have this many cars. This is a 21-year-old. I need this type of car because a friend is driving this. There is a lot of comparison that you end up chasing people's dreams. And yes, one day you will realize those dreams, but are you happy in that space? Are you comfortable? Will you one day be invited to a space and win it? I think you've seen Daisy win her topic. Will you one day step before people and win your topic? You know, will you have the confidence to fight for it to the end? Ama will it reach a point and it's like, I got the car, now what? I got the money, now I got the girlfriend, now what? You know, you're just doing, you're dreaming what, you're realizing other people's dreams, and then you end up not satisfied with your own life. I think setting that base, stepping into rooms with boldness, sometimes you might feel, I love that I am allowed to speak in English, but then Swahili would make the conversation exciting. Inaitwa, you'll step into rooms na you shrink kwa sababu you are not prepared for these rooms.
I am chronically